The most watched show on Prime for men under 35 is about a woman who longs to get married and have children. She's not angry at men and she's not climbing a corporate ladder. She volunteers for the Vault's repopulation program. She talks about wanting babies with the same enthusiasm other characters reserve for violence. And when her application for marriage gets approved, she's genuinely excited. This is what you've been told doesn't exist anymore. A woman who's feminine, capable, wants a family, believes in community, the kind of girl you could actually bring home, the kind who'd go anywhere with you and make it work. Let me tell you why any decent man would follow a woman like Lucy to the end of the world. You meet Lucy MacLean in Vault 33, sitting in front of the council, applying for marriage. She's nervous but genuine, excited but not desperate. She's an American history buff and she's great with a gun. And did I mention she's a gymnast? The Vault's database matching system hasn't found her a partner yet, so she's volunteering for the triennial trade with Vault 32. They'll send machine parts and wheat seed. Vault 32 will send a husband, and Lucy wants this. Wants marriage, wants children, wants to contribute to her community's future. When her application gets approved, her friend Stephanie helps her get ready. Her father, the overseer Hank MacLean, walks her to the connecting door between vaults. He's proud of her, and the whole community celebrates with her. This isn't some dystopian breeding program she's being forced into. The show makes it clear. Lucy chose this. She believes in it. She's happy. Ella Purnell plays her perfectly. She's pretty without being completely unattainable. Girl next door face, real smile, and those eyes. The kind of woman you believe when she talks about the golden rule and community service and doing right by people. She's not an overpowered girl boss. She fails, constantly innocent enough to get tricked, powerless enough to get captured and used as bait. She nearly dies multiple times, but she doesn't lay down and give up. She learns, she adapts, she fights without being insufferably perfect, and she doesn't whine about it. When her wedding night turns into a bloodbath and she stabs her scavenger husband in the neck, you're not standing back and evaluating the ethics of it. You want her to survive. You want her to fight. Whatever it takes, you're with her all the way. And that alignment matters. From that point on, you're not just watching what she does, you lean in her direction. And that subtle shift in posture, almost invisible, is what gives the rest of the story its momentum. Bolt 33 looks like 1950s America on purpose. Clean corridors, assigned roles, community dinners, agrarian cooperation, moral clarity. Everyone knows everyone. The overseer watches over everything. The council approves marriages. The people seem happy. There's order, safety, routine, and the system works. But the spaces are tight, and it's the same schedule every day. There's no privacy, someone's always watching, and Lucy's entire life is decided by the database, by the council, by her father. In the vault, you don't choose your work or your spouse or your future. You submit to the system and trust that it knows best. After the raid, Lucy volunteers to go to the surface to rescue her father after he was kidnapped during her own wedding reception. The council tries to stop her, expecting trust and obedience. But Lucy walks out and you go with her. The show frames this as courage, individual initiative against institutional control, a young woman refusing to be managed by weak men who failed to protect her. And why wouldn't she leave? The vault promised safety and order built on truth, but it delivered violence and chaos because paradise was a lie. Now Lucy will seek truth in the wilderness. The vault door opens. She walks into the wasteland. You follow her out. If you've played the games, you know what's out there. Radiation, raiders, cannibals, mutants. 200 years of civilization reduced to scavenger camps and violence. But the sky's vast. The horizons stretch forever. You can actually breathe. The vault was all tight corridors and recycled air out here. There's space. The people are worse than terrible. But at least they're honest about it. No smiling over community dinners while a database picks your spouse. A raider might kill you, but they won't pretend they're doing it for your own good. The vault was sanitized lies, but the brutal surface deals in truth. Then you meet him, 200 years old. Radiation burned away his nose, his skin, most of what made him look human. A walking corpse. Walton Goggins makes the ghoul impossible not to watch. He's actually funny, sharp, cutting, real. Always 3 moves ahead, never rattled. When he kills, it's aesthetic. The choreography, the music cues, the one-liners between headshots. He massacres a town for your entertainment. He uses Lucy as bait, mocks the golden rule the Vault taught her, proves none of it works out here. Lucy's the most innocent character, but also the most naive and vulnerable. The ghoul's the most corrupted, but also the most capable, the most experienced, and loyal to a fault. The math works itself out in your head. Maybe corruption isn't evil. Maybe it's just seeing clearly. Track what happens as you follow Lucy through season 1. She cuts the head off a corpse to get the tech inside. It has to be done. You watch Lucy bite off the ghoul's finger, a serious move against a formidable foe, but he cuts off hers in return. She's more willing to do what it takes now, but that's still not enough, not out here in the waste. Then the big reveal arrives. Vault Tech started the war. Barb Howard sat in that boardroom meeting. They chose to end the world. Lucy finds her father at the end of season 1. He's no evil genius, just middle management who believed what they told him. Got frozen, woke up centuries later, ran Vault 33 like he was supposed to. But when Lucy's mother, Rose, figured out people were living on the surface when she tried to leave with the kids, Hank hunted them down. Rose wouldn't come back. So Hank called in an airstrike on Shady Sands, nuked the new California Republic's capital, thousands dead. Rose survived as a feral ghoul, mindless, violent, gone. Lucy finds what's left of her mother, she shoots her, and it's a mercy killing. Every step gets framed as Lucy growing up, getting real, and leaving behind the Vault's childish optimism. You're cheering her the entire way. In season 2, Lucy and the ghoul track Hank to New Vegas. The journey destroys what's left of her Vault morality. Caesar's Legion captures her. She escapes. She sees the Shady Sands crater up close, thousands dead because her father wanted his family back. She starts using Buff Out, gets addicted, learns to manage it. Another skill the Vault never taught her. Lucy finds her father in New Vegas. He's building mind control implants that wipe memories and rewrite personalities, turning Wasteland survivors into obedient servants of Vault Tech's vision. He calls it Phase 2, the Vault's preserved humanity. Now comes Reconquest. He's proud of it and genuinely believes he's saving civilization. When Lucy objects, he tries to implant her. The ghoul intervenes to save her, but he doesn't stick around. He's got his own family to find in Colorado. He leaves her with the choice of what to do with her father. Lucy destroys the mainframe, but Hank triggers his own device, rather than face her. He erases himself, and his final words are an empty, "I love you," then nothing. His eyes go blank. He doesn't recognize his daughter standing in front of him. She doesn't go back to the Vault, doesn't try to rebuild what was lost. She stays in the Wasteland, alone with her choices. The show presents this as the right choice. You watched Lucy for 16 episodes, rooted for her, wanted her to succeed. You watched her talk to the ghoul, this corrupted figure, and learned from him, watched him mock her father's teachings. You watched him prove that Vault morality doesn't work in the real world time and time again, so you agreed with him. You watched Lucy discover her father lied, that the system was corrupt, that the ordered world was actually a prison built on genocide, and you agreed that she was right to leave. You watched Lucy reject everything she was raised to believe, walk away from community, structure, her father's authority, the possibility of marriage and family, and building something that lasts. Again, you agreed she was doing the right thing. The show made you want this for her, made you confident her rebellion was maturity, made you see the Vault's order as oppression, authority as villainy, and exile as wisdom. You spent 16 hours learning to cheer when the beautiful, marriage-minded, family-oriented girl walks away from everything she wanted in episode 1. Did you ever stop to think about what the Vault represents? Sure, it's a caricature. Fallout is famous for its satire, but what's it satirizing? 1950s America. Nuclear family structure, clearly defined roles for men and women, community cohesion, patriarchal authority. Church on Sunday, neighborhood potlucks, everyone knows everyone, kids playing in the street without concern. The Vault caricatures the world the boomers grew up in, the world your grandparents remember. But Fallout tells you it was a prison built on lies. Every shot is claustrophobic. The cheerfulness feels forced. The order feels oppressive. The father watching everything feels sinister. Underneath it all, it's a cult, a system of control. Vault-Tec is corporate Christianity, institutions that claim to preserve civilization while destroying it for profit and control. Hank MacLean is the sincere believer, the middle manager who internalized the corporate mission. He's the suburban dad, the church elder, the one who genuinely thinks he's protecting his family while enforcing something monstrous. He nuked an entire city and killed thousands. He turned his wife into a monster. He did it out of loyalty, love, and the genuine belief he was preserving civilization. Fallout makes it clear that even the sincere ones are the problem, especially the sincere ones. Their sincerity makes them effective enforcers. You can't be a good father in a corrupt structure. The only moral response is to leave. Before the war, Cooper was the most innocent, idealistic character in the show. He loved his family and believed in doing the right thing. But he was a fool. 200 years of suffering corrupted him, but it's the only reason he survived. Fallout teaches that trust leads to betrayal, innocence survives only through corruption, and survival requires ruthlessness, cynicism, and isolation. The father figure enforces the prison. The truth seeker survived through corruption. Which one does the show present as wiser? Which one does Lucy follow? Reconsider what you just watched. An innocent and desirable woman in paradise with her father. He has only one command: stay inside, because outside means death. An intruder appears. Everyone knows who I am, but, she accuses the father, does anyone know who you are? She mentions the real world and provokes the woman with, you should see it sometime. The woman receives this forbidden knowledge and leaves. The story sounds familiar, right? Distorted but familiar. This is the oldest story. Lucy starts as Eve, innocent, trusting, wanting marriage, family, community, everything the vault offers. The serpent appears, at first as Moldaver, enticing with forbidden knowledge of the real world. Lucy listens and leaves. Then the serpent guides as the ghoul, demonic in appearance, charming in personality, filled with real-world wisdom. Lucy learns and evolves. By the end, she's not Eve anymore. Eve becomes Lucy, the false light of Lucifer, the woman remade in the image of the devil. That's her arc. And there's a man there too. Did you catch him? He's been watching the entire time, silent, passive, rooting for her. And he follows Eve into exile because he agrees with her choice. He follows her all the way to the end of the world. He's probably in that 1835 age bracket. It's you. You're Adam. You watched her engage with the serpent, heard the promise of wisdom, saw her choose against the Father's command. You could have intervened. You could have turned off the screen. But you didn't, because you were equally enticed. She did it with your consent, and you became her follower. Silent, passive Adam led by your woman into the wasteland of death. Fallout gave you a father who was the villain, and a serpent who was a shapeshifter and a truth teller. It convinced you that leaving paradise was wisdom. But you were supposed to recognize the serpent's lie. You were supposed to say no. Instead, you found him charming, and you agreed the father was controlling. You thought rebellion was necessary, and by the end you were convinced it was maturity. You were led astray by a woman you should have guided, led in faithful obedience to a serpent you should have crushed underfoot. And even though you may have been mesmerized by the first episode, the show offered you one last chance to turn back one final warning about its purpose in episode 2. Dr. Wilzig warned you both. If you insist on staying, you'll have to adapt. Question is, will you still want the same things when you've become a different animal altogether? It sounds like Wasteland realism, survival talk, but it was the show asking for your consent, asking permission to change you, to make you transition. And remember what Lucy asked back in episode 3, what are you? His reply, I'm you, sweetie, you just give it a little time. He wasn't taunting her, and it wasn't about the irradiated water she just drank. He was prophesying. You thought she was following a guide through the wasteland, but she was following in the footsteps of a rabbi. He showed her what she'd become, not from glory to glory, but from corruption to corruption. And then slowly, carefully, across 16 hours, the show made her become it. Made you watch her become it. Made you call it growth. The finger exchange wasn't just violence, it was a blood union. Part of her grafted onto the demon physically, part of the demon grafted onto her spiritually. Because that's what happens. The environment forms you, it reshapes you. Don't take my word for it. Ella Purnell says so herself. Quote, by killing her mum in a mercy kill, she's doing exactly what the ghoul did to Roger. She's learned from him. She has turned into him. Unquote. Because that's what happens. The environment forms you. It reshapes you. Lucy starts wanting marriage, children, community. She talks about babies over wedding cake. She believes in the golden rule like it's oxygen. 16 episodes later, she's standing in the ruins, watching empires collapse, and she doesn't go back. She doesn't rebuild what she wanted. She stays out there in the wasteland. The uncomfortable part is that the line isn't just for Lucy. You sat watching her, adapted with her, learned what she learned, felt what she felt, agreed where she agreed. She changed. Did you? That was the warning. Not that the wasteland would kill her, that it would remake her and you'd call it growth. Fallout made you rehearse the fall. 16 hours of emotional practice. Learning to see order as oppression, authority as villainy, exile as freedom, family as prison. You became what you beheld. This is why Lucy had to be so appealing. The show needed you attached, rooting for her, invested in her happiness and her choices. If Lucy had been a girl boss from the start, angry, masculine, hostile to men and family, you would have recognized the pattern immediately, known where it was going, resisted. But Lucy's the girl you've been told doesn't exist anymore. Feminine without being weak, desires marriage without being desperate, values community without being mindless, believes in the golden rule without being preachy. She's earnest, genuine, tries hard at everything, fails and gets back up. The kind of woman you'd bring home to your family. She loves American history and is a mean shot. And did I mention she's a gymnast? So when the show starts deconstructing everything she believes in, you don't resist. You're too busy rooting for her, wanting her to be okay, wanting her to win. The show slowly, carefully, across 2 seasons, redefines what winning means. In episode 1, winning means getting married, having babies, serving her community. By episode 16, winning means walking away from all of it alone in the wasteland. The shift happens so gradually, you don't notice. Each episode, Lucy moves further from the vault and closer to the ghoul's worldview. Each episode frames that choice as growth, wisdom, becoming more real, becoming cooler. By the end, you're celebrating her isolation, calling it freedom. The show is telling you that even the wholesome Christian girls, even the marriage-minded, family-oriented girls, are girl bosses in the making. Eventually, they choose individualism over community, the wasteland over the garden. It's inevitable, it's growth. It's what a real woman does once she's been exposed to truth. That's the formation, that's the poison. The show makes you practice agreeing until it feels like wisdom. After 16 hours of following Lucy, agreeing with her choices, rooting for her rejection of the father, what kind of man are you becoming? Are you more likely to trust female-led rebellion or question it? More likely to see traditional authority as protective or oppressive? More likely to find the corrupted cynic charming or concerning? More likely to think leaving is wisdom or failure? The show doesn't argue these points, it makes you feel them. You practice them emotionally for 16 hours until they seem obviously true. That's formation. It's pagan liturgy. You're being taught what to worship, what to hope for, what's possible. You're being shown what a good woman looks like, what a free woman chooses, what a mature woman walks away from. Millions of men your age just went through the same process, all watching Lucy, all practicing the same responses, all cheering as she walks away. That formation doesn't stay in the show. It shapes what you think is true, good, and possible in the real world. A generation of men is being formed by stories like this. So here you are at the end of the world. You followed Lucy here, I get it, she's a gymnast, but you don't have to stay here with her. The garden is still real. Marriage is still possible. Building families that last beyond you is still the way forward. Community under God is still stronger than isolation in the wasteland. The serpent is still a liar. The Father is still good. And you're still the man who gets to choose whether to follow or to lead. Choose wisely. This was the Frank Fox being frank about how popular culture, Hollywood, and the entertainment industry invert the truth of Scripture to lead people away from Jesus Christ. If you like this content, please subscribe, click like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. And may God bless you in the knowledge of His Son, Jesus Christ.